welcome to Voice of the Journey. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's been on my mind lately, which is food. Specifically, the way we label foods as good or bad, and how this perception can shape a relationship with what we eat. You see, most people I know tend to label foods as good or bad. This is a healthy food. That's not healthy at all. That's junk food. But is it really that simple? Over the past week, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I've come to realize that there is not a clear cut line between good and bad foods. It's all about perspective and context. Let's think about gasoline for a moment. Some people might believe that 91 gas is better than 87, but the reality is it depends on the car. You can put 91 in a car that requires 87, thinking it'll make it perform better. But it doesn't work that way. It's the same with diesel or even jet fuel. Each type of fuel is designed for specific engines. They are all energy sources, and their effectiveness depends on how they're used. Now let's translate this to food. Just like fuel, food is energy. Some foods might be more beneficial depending on your specific goals, but that doesn't make other foods inherently bad. It's about how you use them. Whether you prefer organic, vegetarian, or grass fed meat, or whatever, it's all about balance. Eating too much or too little of anything won't work in the long run. To give you some context, I've been on a fitness journey for almost 6 months now. On January 1st, I weighed 189 pounds after my first ever bulk. It was a 20 plus pound gain over a few months, and honestly, it felt great. I wasn't eating a ton of food. I just happened to choose calorie dense options without even knowing that much about food. And I've been going to the gym consistently for over 2.5 years. But it wasn't until I took my diet seriously that I started to see significant changes. First with the bulk I did last year, and now with my first ever cut, trying to look as lean as I can. So this is my background in working out. So when I started this cut back in January, I had no real understanding of food and how to use it to achieve my goals. I began by asking myself, what does a fit person do? How do they act? What do they eat? I realized that if I wanted to get lean, I needed to emulate the habits of someone who is already lean. And this concept came from Leila Hormozi, and it was a game changer for me. I had to shift my mindset to understand that my previous habits weren't going to get me where I wanted to be. Even though I chose to bulk, I had no idea how to cut effectively. It was a risk because if I hadn't learned or tried hard enough, I would have ended up with a lot of fat and no lean physique. So the first step was acknowledging that change was necessary. I knew it would take time, and I was at peace with that from the beginning. I was not in a rush. I just wanted to be as lean as possible by my birthday on April 30th. And this journey became a learning phase for me, basically, because I learned why calories matter, what protein actually does, and why carbs and fats are not the enemies they're often made out to be. I started by adjusting my diet to include foods that were tasty, easy to make, and not calorie dense. My Instagram feed became full of recipes, making it easier to find healthy options. It was all about efficiency, making the most of every calorie. And so my kitchen changed, my social media changed, my whole environment changed, and my body started to transform. For the first quarter of the year, I was very strict. I tracked every meal and snack, and this helped me stay on track. Tracking brought clarity and understanding, allowing me to make adjustments that led to improvement. Without tracking, it's hard to progress. If you don't track, you don't care. And that's why those 3 months of intense tracking were crucial. Now, even though I don't track every meal, I've gained the consciousness to maintain my progress. And the key takeaway is that I've been in a consistent deficit for almost 6 months. And now I'm down to 164 pounds, looking better than ever. And I really feel amazing. And it makes me proud to have achieved this goal, especially on my first try, on my first ever cut. The journey hasn't felt like a diet because I allowed it to take time and didn't rush the process. I've enjoyed pizza, ice cream, burgers, and my favorite foods along the way. I understood that it takes time, and over a long enough horizon, you see the results, one day at a time. And so I focused on my actions. Just like gaining weight, getting in shape happens gradually. Eventually, I stopped worrying about immediate results because I knew that consistency would pay off. And now, 6 months in, I'm entering a maintenance phase and feeling good about what I've accomplished. And yes, it's about patience, but the thing is that it's more about understanding that results will come if you don't give up and give it enough time to compound. People often ask what the secret is or how it happened so fast, but it didn't. It took countless days of doing the same thing over and over and over again, not seeing immediate results, feeling like it was not working at all, but knowing deep down that persistence would lead to success. And also, building muscle is another area where people, I think, have misconceptions because it takes a long time and consistent effort. So, I just wanted to say that if you're afraid of getting too big too quickly, don't be. It won't happen. I've been working out for almost 3 years and I'm not overly muscular. It takes a lot of time and dedication to build significant muscle mass. But let's get back to it. The principle of energy balance is simple. Your body needs a certain amount of energy to function. If you consume less than your body needs, it will use stored energy. It will use fat to make up the difference. And over time, this leads to fat loss. It's all about controlling what you put in your mouth, not letting food control you. This journey has taught me to listen to my body and see food as energy. And don't get me wrong, I still enjoy eating, but my priority is to fuel my body to achieve my goals. As I mentioned earlier, I've had pizza, ice cream, and other treats, but in moderation and always in the context of my overall goals. This approach has allowed me to make lasting changes without feeling deprived. Because it's important to understand that getting in shape is not just about reaching a goal, it's about maintaining it. The goal should not be to get in shape, but to stay in shape. And this long term perspective has helped me stay on track and enjoy the process. Time will pass regardless of whether you take action or not. So, taking action now sets you up for future success. I felt the need to share this journey because it might inspire someone to take action and achieve their own goals. Because when I started, I didn't believe in myself, but I didn't let that stop me. I focused on what needed to be done each day, regardless of how I felt. You have to do what's required. And it can be boring and repetitive, but that's part of the process. Change requires discomfort and effort. And so, by acting like a lean person would, I made my goal a reality. It became a new normal, and I stopped fighting against it. I embraced the journey. And one of the hardest parts is dealing with social situations because it's tempting to abandon your goals when you're surrounded by friends and family. So, setting boundaries and letting your loved ones know about your goals is crucial. They can support you and hold you accountable. And if you can't set boundaries, sometimes it's necessary to isolate yourself temporarily to stay on track. And it's okay to miss some social gatherings to prioritize your health and goals. Because remember, your friends and family will still be there. And if they truly care, they'll support your efforts. This approach worked for me, even though it was uncomfortable at times. The key is to stay focused on your priorities. And so that's it for today's episode. Remember, food is fuel, and how you use it determines your success. Yo soy Bruno, and I'll see you in the next one.